Hey everybody, welcome to Awkward Conversations. We are Seth and Saundra done. And today we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about personalities and specifically our personalities. And I'm going to start us out because I'm telling you what, I am good for her. I was talking to a friend just the other day and I realized, because I knew we were going to do this video shoot and this conversation, and I thought some of these things about my personality that she doesn't like, they're good for her.
Do tell.
Well, the thing is, let me clarify. The reverse is true too. There are things about your personality that aren't my favorite, but they're really good for me. So like for example, she will tell you that I'm maybe slightly anal about finances and management of them and budgeting and, all those things. And some of that comes from the mix of my personality. And
yeah, but I've told you you're good for me that way, and I'm really glad.
I know, but I wanted them to know.
This is also an economic value thing. I don't even look at that as... yes, it's part of your personality, but that's like an economic value. Values are different than personality.
But I needed them to know it because of image. Listen, where we're going, you're going to understand these comments. So we seriously are looking at our personalities today, and we're gonna go through some of the things that she finds challenging, irritating, whatever about me, and then same back.
But I think part of what we're talking about is things that we know about each other, but we don't understand.
Yeah.
Or
right.
we say, okay, I can understand it on paper, but I don't get it in experience.
Right, exactly. So do you want me to start? Because I think I'm understanding right along that way. So this would be true. This is you talking, not me, but I'm always the first person up for a last minute adventure. Now, when I first read that statement, that's true about you, right?
I was going to say that's sort of true.
Okay.
So we are working off of sheets that are part of our personality.
Right.
So I will say that. So, but not every statement on the sheet
do I
connect with.
Or it might be that you connect with part of it. Because honestly, I read that and I like adventure. I don't, and sometimes last minute even is okay with me.
Yeah.
And I'm a very different personality. Here's what I don't carry that I read in that is FOMO.
Uh-huh.
The fear of missing out torments her. And I don't carry any of that. So I don't get that. I don't understand that FOMO. That fear of missing out. I'm like, so?
I don't think I have that as much.
She does have that.
No, legitimately, I think both of those statements, I'm always the first person up for a last minute adventure, that has changed because my life has changed. So used to, yes. Now it's like, I can't. I have this, I can't. And do I find that a bummer? Yes. I find it a bummer that my life doesn't allow for that anymore, but it doesn't. And I've had to understand that I've sort of chosen that.
Yeah, well, that's fair because life does do this to us, right? To all of us, not just us.
Yeah.
You do make your choices.
You change things.
Sure, or choose in a season to make the choice.
Yeah.
But I still would go back to, you do identify somewhat with FOMO, and I do not.
Can you give me an example?
Often if there's something that is offered, something that's going on, or sometimes even you'll be like, well, we could do that, but I might need to shift that because something else might come up. And it sure looks like FOMO to me because you're willing to adjust and change to things because either something else does come up or it might come up and you seem to not want to miss out on that, which I could care less.
I think it's interesting though because so I'm just thinking about an example in my own mind. So we have people in my life that I love deeply that were going on a trip actually last week. And I was invited and I desperately wanted to go.
Yeah.
But I would not classify that as FOMO. It's not that I feel like I'm missing out.
Right. Sorry.
Listen.
I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm
It's
listening.
not that I feel like I'm missing out. It's that they're very valuable and important to me. And I want to be in their lives and I want to be part of their lives and connected to them. So
yeah.
to me, that's not FOMO. That is, I love them and I want to be connected and I want to give to them.
Okay.
And I want to be part of their lives. And I missed out on an entire week's worth and I don't get to see them often. So I missed out on an entire week's worth of giving and being part of their lives that I didn't get to
Okay,
do.
so you gave a nice nuance to that I think is fair, but I still see some FOMO in that. Still that fear, still fearing of missing out on something, and then I'm this.
The only problem with this is I think I know myself.
So the
So I
other
don't think
the
it's
other
just
one
a nuance.
the
It's
other
a reality.
the other one that I highlighted is people close to me say I can be argumentative.
That's fair. Because if you've got it wrong, I want to help you get it right.
I'm sorry, but that's great. No, and the thing is, I hear you, and I do think that the classic FOMO of just if anything's going on, I need to be in there, I need to be doing it. What you just unpacked, you don't carry that.
No.
I mean, now there are times, though, I will say, where something comes up and she's like, oh, I'm going to go do that. I'm really kind of tired, but I'm going to go do that anyway. So I don't know what the driver is on that, but it may not be FOMO, but you'll go and do those things. And I value and respect that, but again, that's something I don't carry because all often I'm like, no, I'm done. I don't know. I don't want to go do that.
Here's the bottom line.
Yeah.
The reality is this. Seth cares about money. That's a value of his. So he's not going to go do it because he'll have to spend money to go do it.
Well, it could be one of the
Because
reasons.
it's gas
for sure.
and time and vehicle wear and tear and parking and whatever.
That certainly could be one of the issues.
One of my values is people. You don't care about people. I care about people. You care about money. I don't care about money. So that's a value system. That's why when I'm tired at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. But I'm still like, but it's important to that person. So I'm going to figure out a way to go do it.
Yes, it's a value system that's within your personality as well.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, enough picking on you. You want to bring one of your items up? Okay. Something that about me that you think you get that you don't understand.
Yes, I do not understand this, and I mentioned this when we were talking earlier. But the statement is this: it's important for me to come across as a winner. What?
It should be important to everyone that you come across as a winner. Duh. Yeah. So, what don't you get about that? I mean, you do not carry that.
I do not understand it. I don't get it. That thought never enters my mind. Like I walk into a room and like, okay, I need to look good. I need to come across as a winner. Like, what?
Yeah.
That I don't comprehend that.
So one of the things in my in my personality is all of what you just described may happen, and it might happen like really quick internally, and I'm not even aware of it, kind of thing. So I think there's something about the way I operate, that there's so much going on behind the scenes that if I don't stop and actually pay attention, I don't even recognize that what you just described just happened. Yeah. I walk into a room and I just do me. I just walk in and do what I do. And then if I stop and realize it, I'll be like, because really, so what I was describing to her earlier when we were talking about that statement is in a healthy person, you're probably not actually like needing the validation of being a winner. You internally know, and in our case, it would come down to, I know that I'm a winner because I know who I am in Jesus. So Jesus won for me, and here's my identity based on him. That would be a very healthy perspective. Not always completely healthy, talking of me. There would be times when I walk into a room and it's like, okay, do I look good? And I don't like go in thinking, hey, do I look good? But I'll go in And if I stop and think about it, there is an element of I want to come across well here,
Yeah.
and you don't get that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So can you literally
Which
walk in
is
a room and
so-
it makes no difference what you look like, what you sound like, how you come across, how capable or not you seem to be? You never think about any of that?
Not really. No, I will think, for me, it's more, I'm thinking about, like, if I go into a room and I know, say at church, whatever, I'm going to be teaching, I'm going into that thinking about what's the content of what I'm teaching, what's the outline, what's the ultimate goal, what am I trying to get across? Like, I'm thinking about that, not thinking, do I look good? Am I carrying enough authority? Do I need to, those are not thoughts that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, I would add this to it if it's a familiar environment such as church. That's different.
Okay.
I can more easily be in the mode you just described.
Okay.
Would be in that mode some anyway.
Yeah.
But then there would be the element of well, okay, I'll give you an example. I watched us after filming a Friday night that I taught, and I watched the video, and I'd worn shorts that night, which I wear shorts a lot. I mean, as much as I possibly can. But I saw myself on that video, and I thought, that doesn't come across real great. Not that my legs are bad or anything, but just in that video setting and in that teaching setting, I didn't like how that came across. I noticed it, and I've never worn shorts again when I'm teaching.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, it speaks to that.
Now,
It's an
mind
image.
you,
It's an image thing.
I will say, I do, like when I'm going in to teach anywhere, I do want to look good. And I do want to present myself
But you
as
know
such.
you do. Is that the difference?
Well, yes and no. Like, I'm not super thrilled currently
Watch your face. That was adorable.
with the shape of my body per se. But apart from that, like, yeah, I know I look good when I dress, when I am intentional about, there's no, I look good. And so then I don't even have to think about it. But I'm just saying, like, I understand the desire to come across a certain way, I suppose, in that, I don't know if you noticed it, but even this when we were doing training, the first day, it was more important to me to look nice because it's the first impression. And so I was a little bit more dressed up.
So that was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never think it's important that I come across as a winner because I'm like, no, I am a winner. So that's what's coming across.
Part of, and I don't want to sidetrack us here, but part of why we wanted to do this is I just think it's really good to be able to have these conversations, particularly as a married couple, but I think even in other work situations and friend situations and so forth, to be able to talk about, because we are all built differently. Now, some people are built more the same, personalities are similar than others. And there is the concept that opposites attract. I think there's something to that. Oftentimes, you'll find couples that, we're aligned in a lot of ways, but we're very different in a lot of ways.
Sure.
And I think honoring that and respecting that. So that's why I'm obviously having some fun here today, because I think there's just this nice element of, you've got your nuances, I've got mine. And I didn't mean to be insulting, by the way, with the FOMO nuance. I was just saying that it's still, whether you're fearing missing out on an activity or fearing missing out on people, it's still FOMO.
I'm not fearing missing out on people. Look, I can admit when I'm wrong. I have no issue saying, yep, when you say, people close to me say I can be argumentative. Yep. I can be argumentative. But FOMO is not an issue for me.
Okay.
I literally don't think it is.
Yeah.
But
you value people. I heard what you said there. You value people. So you're going to go above and beyond.
But it's not like I'm going to miss out on something amazing.
Well, yeah. You're
That's
not fearing
the problem.
That. Okay.
My feelings are, I'm going to not be able to connect with the people who are important to me. And that is massive to me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, yeah.
There we go. I mean, you do value people differently than I do.
I definitely do. And
For sure.
to my own detriment a lot of times. Like,
well, I would have thought so, but
yeah, absolutely. I've had to really learn how to say, I can't do that right now. Even though I want to bless people and give to people, support people, etc.
Yeah.
My strong people value system, I have had to really learn how to put some boundaries on it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, we all have those areas, right? Those things that deserve us putting boundaries on them, or it could be a boundary, or it could be a limit of some sort, but also just us growing and changing too.
Yeah.
Right, and recognizing that, oh wow, I don't like that about myself.
Right.
And sometimes she'll say things that will spark in me. Sometimes I'll be maybe a little hurt or offended or something at first, but then there are those moments where I'm like, okay, but that's a valid point. I was thinking there was something the other day. I shouldn't have mentioned it if I can't come up with it, but there was something you said the other day that just made me go, she has a valid point, and I don't like it, but I should look at what that would take for me to adjust that a little bit. And it wasn't, here's the cool thing that I think, and I suppose this is different with different people, different personalities, therefore different couples. But it wasn't like it was something she said, you need to get this, you need to get your act together. You need to get this straightened up. You just made a comment. And I went, oh, that's a fair comment. Now I can ignore that and move on, or I can do something with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think I'm going to say a couple more statements that I don't connect with. One, it's hard for me to name or access my feelings. We've talked about this a lot because I can ask him how he felt about a situation that happened.
Right.
And he'd be like, I don't know, give me a couple days. And he will think about it and he will come back to me.
I'll go back
but
and
that is like,
sort it.
What? Because for me, something happens and I know in the first 5 minutes, I had 10 feelings and 10 thoughts.
And see, I don't get that. And when she first said that to me, that she knows those feelings, those emotions right away, I was like, no, you don't. There's no way. Because in my experience, you don't. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So when you unpack that, I'm like, wow, that must be pretty cool. And also that must be maddening. So I don't get that connection with emotions that easily.
Yeah.
So the vice versa there.
Interesting though, that you say that must be maddening. That's
to
experience that.
I think because you would constantly be in touch with emotion then.
Which I value.
I know. And I look at it and go, wow, it sounds maddening. And I'll never know, probably. I think
it sounds maddening to you because
I don't experience
this other statement that I was going to say, which is, I'm very sensitive to criticism and it takes me a while to get over it.
Well, that is true for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
I think, first of all, failure is unacceptable. Like, period.
Failure doesn't happen. Failure doesn't happen. It's not a thing.
If I can get to that belief system somewhere, that would do. She's saying failure does not exist.
No, education exists. The other day I was making something for
my goodness,
my design stuff,
and
I was
failed.
Making something. And it wasn't great, and I'm like, okay, but to me, that's
I thought you were going to say about your bread.
Oh, yeah.
Was that not a failure?
We could say, I tried to make this bread that was supposed to be amazing. It didn't work. I think I did it wrong.
I think it looked more like rubber than bread. I don't think the chickens even ate it.
It looked like a Halloween prosthetic.
I would have thought it was a failure. Yeah, and I would have thought as far as bread, it was a failure. But apparently not.
No, it's an education. Okay, I did something wrong. You can look at it and go, there's something I didn't do right there.
Yeah.
But that's not a failure. That's live and learn. That's anything that I have failed at. And I was actually thinking about something that I had crocheted and I was like, okay, that didn't work. What do I need to do different?
Gotcha.
So to me, it's an education. But
well, so
you were
back to
saying-
this
yeah.
though. I mean, so for me, the failure does exist, and I don't like experiencing it, and so I'm going to avoid it. But the other thing I think is just the image thing. If you and I'm better at this than I used to be, but if you express or it becomes obvious that somebody thinks has an image of me that I don't like, then that's hard to handle because image does matter. So that gets tricky, and of course, I've experienced that in both. I think a healthier vantage point now than it used to be, and I think it can ebb and flow even though, depending on what's going on.
It's interesting,
right? If I happen to be in touch with my emotions at the moment, that probably impacts how well I take. Criticism or so forth.
Do you think
to some
that
degree.
if you're super aware of your emotions, it makes criticism better or worse?
I don't know. I mean, that would be something I would have to
think
take.
about that for a couple days.
I need a couple of days on that one, and I'll get back to you. I would honestly have just never really thought about that, so I really don't know. What that would do.
Yeah.
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 So interesting. It's so interesting how different we are, how differently we're built.
Man. Yeah.
I think a lot of people would tend to think that he's not sensitive, that he's not, like things don't bother him. And I'm telling you, like, he's sensitive. I have to be so cautious about how I approach and say things because I don't want to hurt you.
Well, and you're probably in the most important but also toughest role in that arena. Because there are people that maybe would say something to me and I'm not going to be particularly sensitive to it because maybe I don't have a relationship with them, or maybe I flat out don't trust them, or maybe I think their opinion it carries no weight with me. Where nobody's opinion has more value, carries more weight than yours in my life, people-wise. Consequently, it also increases that, which puts you in a spot. I hadn't really thought through this until right now, but it does put you in a spot, I think, where it does leave a bigger impact than it, because some people, but I do that. I don't do that just with you. I do that in general.
Yeah.
There's some people it doesn't matter as much. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So the fun thing, you love fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's been known to say, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Absolutely.
I don't get that.
Absolutely.
Because there's lots of stuff. And in fact, oftentimes I'll say, oh, well, that was fun. And she'll be like, what was fun? Well, we got it done. We got the fence built. That was fun. So her definition
is fun.
Yeah.
No.
So her definition of fun and her crave for fun, I don't get that. Because it's almost, if you don't put it in check, it's insatiable.
Yes. If it's not put in check, absolutely.
And I'm like, I don't get that.
It is, yeah. And the word insatiable, like one of my passions, negative things, shadow side stuff is gluttony. Like, it's never enough. Nothing is ever enough. Anything good, it's never enough. I gotta have more, gotta have more, gotta have more. So it is an insatiable thing, and I have to be aware of that. I have to be on guard with that.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, I would say fun is massively important, and it is valuable for life and health. And
to you.
Yes. And I'm not just saying this for myself. I had a doctor tell me one time, your body needs you to have fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
Dang Skippy. Well, and yes.
So
I would not argue that, but I would still say, but I don't get it, because I need fun in my life, but not at the level you do.
but
So I think
also
everybody should have some fun.
Yeah, but for you,
wow.
what you call fun is
it's different. It's different.
So different.
It's different than you. Yeah.
Because from my vantage point, most people don't be sensitive about this.
Okay. Let me brace myself here.
Most people, I look at their lives and I'm like, you do not have any fun in your life. And I would say that, like, I look at your life and I'm like, man,
I have all kinds of fun.
I don't think you have hardly any fun. And the same is true. Like, I look at most people's lives and I'm like, they just don't have any fun. Which then makes it really hard to find somebody to have fun with, because definitions of fun are so lame these days.
They're so lame. I like my definition. No, I hear you. Hey, listen, I don't want to sidetrack us, and I mean, I don't know how long we want to go either, because there's plenty more points we can bring up. But I think one of the things I want to make sure that people hear here is, we wanted to have these conversations because these are things.
Because we needed a counseling session.
We needed a counseling session.
So
we'll just do it in front of you.
Do it in front of you.
But seriously, it's good to have these conversations, and it's good to be aware. Like, I learned a couple of things. The whole FOMO thing. It may not have looked like it, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the way you view that, was enlightening. And I think the point is, these things. It's good to talk about these things because honestly, I think. What's the saying? Variety is the spice of life. There's no question that there's things about this pretty lady here that I don't understand it. I don't connect. And we've talked about a few of those things. But for the most part, I value those things. Yeah. And when I don't value it, I stop and ask myself why. Yeah. Is it something that needs challenged in her? I mean, because that could happen in either one of us, right? Something that, wait, I'm not going to value that because it needs challenged. But the other side would be, so many times what you bring, like, it just brings value to me. So when I opened up with the funny statement that I'm good for you, you're good for me. Right. And I think sometimes as couples, as business partners, as friends, as fellow Christians in churches, I think we forget this. That just because somebody's different doesn't mean they're not valuable or important. And therefore, I mean, it's just okay. Not on everything, but on a lot of things, it's okay to have different viewpoints, and be willing to talk about those things. And you deserve to have your viewpoints. You don't need to see things exactly the way I do. Right. Yeah. And I can honor and respect that, and vice versa. Right.
And I think that's what's huge, is understanding that even the things that I don't get, I don't like, whatever, it is okay, because he has value. He has valuable points, things for me to learn. We heard a statement this last week, and if she's watching, she'll know we're quoting her. Miranda said, "You don't stress me, you balance me."
Yeah,
and
beautiful
I'm like,
statement.
Gosh, that every married couple should learn that. And that when you're feeling that stress, you should be able to say that just internally, instead of me saying like, "Oh, you stress me out." No, internally, I should be able to say, he's not stressing me, he's balancing me. Yeah. Because that is part of us learning how to work together. And that's true in a work environment.
Oh, absolutely.
It's true in a marriage. It's true in a family relationship, sister, brother. Yeah. That is a humongous thing, to be able to recognize, you don't stress me, you balance me.
I love that, like, our kids are grown now, and they're both married, so they brought us 2 more kids. And you know what? All 4 of those kids balance us. Yeah. Absolutely. And they're a delight because they're shaped and made in the way they are. So it applies everywhere. Yeah. And we wanted to just kind of unpack that with you for a little bit. And
we'll probably do a second part to this, I think.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, okay. Is there a reason for that? We'll talk about that. I could see there's lots along these lines that'd be good to do. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. We're finding it to be a great joy to come to you with these videos, and if you have suggestions, certainly send those in, because we can talk about things that maybe are interesting to you, or that you find awkward, or whatever too. So all righty, we'll see you next time.
We have 88 subscribers.
Yay!
I'm thankful for that. But also, I'm thankful for you. So our encouragement is, ring the bell,
please.
Like.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Yes. Share it in every way you can.
Yes.